What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Ski channel, Swift Coding with a K for everyone. Thank you for joining me. We're still on section 1.8 in the book, App Development with Swift, in the Apple series, Everyone Can Code. So on page 81, start on 81, we talk about IBOutlets and IBActions. Oftentimes, as a programmer, you're going to need a way for your visual aids, your visual elements on the storyboard to be able to interact with your code. And also you want some of those visual aids to be able to interact with the user's touches and taps. And so that's what we're going to basically go over today. So if you have your project still open, the IB Basics project, great. If not, what you'll do is you go down to Xcode, make sure you click on it, and then you'll go up to File, and then you can go to Open Recent, and then you'll select the IB Basics project. All right, there you have it. All right, so now we're back in our interface builder, and we're on the editor on the main.storyboard. All right, so go ahead and select your view controller. You can select it over here in the document outline. If the document outline is not showing, remember you can click this button down here below where it said next to view as iPhone 8 or whatever that you may have up. So you can click that button, you can hide or show it in the lower left hand corner, and you'll have your view controller selected. And what you can do is you'll come over here to the utilities area, but at the top on the toolbar, if you will select the assistant editor, the two circles intertwined, you will see that our view controller shows up for our view that is on the storyboard. And you'll notice, and also if you go over to the class, or I'm sorry, to the identity inspector, you will see that the custom class set for our view controller, for our storyboard item, is the view controller. This is the custom class for that. The thing is right now is that our button that we put on our view on our screen does not have any way to interact with the code. It doesn't have any way to interact with the view controller. So what you want to do is you want to put a connection from the storyboard to the view controller. That way, this button's attributes can be manipulated at runtime or before the app even runs. All right, so what we'll do is what you could do is you'll select the button. You can do it here, or you can do it from the document outline, but we'll do it here. So you can right click on the button, or you can control click, and we're going to drag this blue line right beneath the class view controller and right above the override function view did load, and we'll release. And as you can see, a screen popped up that says outlet. Okay, so that's what we want to do. We want to create an outlet, so we'll have a way to manipulate this once the code, once our app is up and running. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll give this a name. So we're coming up with the variable name. So we'll just say my button. And remember camel casing. So my is lowercase, and then the B for button is capitalized, so it's easier to identify. Remember camel casing. And type, we'll leave it as UI button, and the storage we'll leave it as weak, and we'll get more to that in a second. And we'll hit connect. We'll just create some space. And as you can see right now, so let's explain this. So go ahead and close the assistant editor just by hitting the standard editor button again. And we'll go over in our project navigator, we'll go over and we'll select the view controller that we just were connecting to. All right, so you've got var, you got at IB outlet weak var my button and UI button. All right, so let's explain all this. So first of all, the first thing you'll see is whatever line that you're on, you notice that this gray circle is filled in. That represents that there's a connection between the view controller and the storyboard. If it wasn't connected, this gray circle wouldn't be filled in, it'd be empty. This at IB outlet word is unique to Interface Builder, and it represents the connection between the storyboard and the variable. Okay, without this word, there'd be no circle. This weak word we'll get into in another lesson, but it's basically a telling it what type of variable that is going to be, what type of bond is going to have with the variable in the storyboard. All right, var my button is basically creating a variable my button, and it's of type UI button. This is a user interface element that's within UI kit. All right, and the exclamation mark just means that, hey, we know that something's gonna be there, and this is Swift's way of telling you, if not, like if it's not there and you try to do something, then your app will crash. And we'll get more into that in another lesson as well. This is what you call an explicitly unwrapped optional. All right, so we'll get to that in another lesson. All right, so our UI button is connected. And what we can do now is we can use it and do something, cool with it. So if you could go under override view did load under that function, and we're gonna set a color to it. You can create some space. You can delete the comment, and what you can do is you can do this. So type my button, and then you'll write dot, and then you'll say set title color, and we'll say dot red, or you can do whatever color you want to. And then for control state, we'll just do dot normal. Go ahead and build and run it. All right, build succeeded. Let's see what we have here. So the button was blue. Let's see now what we have. I don't have anything right now. Oh where has my little button gone? Oh where can it be? So let me stop it again. Let me go back to the storyboard and see what is up. I'm gonna just put it in the middle. Know what's going on. I'm gonna do that again. There it is. It's right in the middle. So the button is red. I know it's very, very small, but it is there. All right, but you notice that, okay, you try tapping on it. We know it's a button, but it's not doing anything. Okay, so we're gonna fix that as well. All right, so go ahead and stop the project. And we're gonna do the same thing over again, but this time it'll be a little bit different. All right, so we open up the assistant editor again. While we're on the storyboard, and if you want to, you can hide the document outline for now to make some more space. So we'll hide it, and this time we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to create a function, and we're going to place it down here. We're going to place it below the did receive memory warning. Actually, we can just get rid of that, but yeah, so let me just delete this. So we'll delete did receive memory warning. We're not building a big app, we don't need that. So we'll delete that. And so you'll click on the button again, control click and drag, or you can right click and drag to this section. Make sure you're underneath the override view did load bracket. Make sure it's outside that bracket. You don't want to be in between that. So you release there. And this time the connection needs to be an action. So hit the drop down and go to action. And then the name, now you can name it, you can say button tapped, or my button was tapped, or my button was pressed, or button pressed. So we'll just say button pressed. All right, and make sure it's action, and you can keep the type at any, and you can leave the other stuff alone, and go ahead and hit connect. All right, again, so go up to the standard editor and hit that button to hide the assistant editor, and we'll go back over to our to our view controller. And now what you see is sort of the same thing, but but there are some differences, obviously. So the circle, the filled in circle, means the same thing. It means that there was a connection to the storyboard. The @IBAction means that you created an action and not an outlet. So there is going to be some type of a user interaction with this. It's not something that's based off of code. This is based off of a user interaction. So it's going to be an action. Func button pressed. All right. So this is a type of a function, and we named it button pressed. And the sender word represents the object that triggered the button pressed, and we'll get more into that in a later lesson. And also this any, and so this is a type of any, and since the sender can be any user interaction, that's why it's any. And so we're gonna keep it that way. And okay, and so for now, what we can do is we can do a print statement. So what we'll do is we'll say print, and we'll say my button was pressed. Or you can put anything else you want in there. You don't have to do exactly what I do, but you can, put any type of statement in this, in between your quotation marks within this print statement. All right. And so now what you want to do is you want to go back to your storyboard, click on main.storyboard, and you want to make sure the debug area is open. We could have done it there, but we'll just do it here. And you can hide the variable section for now. We only want to see the debug area because it's going to do a print statement once we run it again. We'll drag it up to make a little bit more space. And now what you can do is you can go back to, you can Command R again, or Command B and then Command R, but go ahead and run your app again, however you want to do it, or hit the play button. So now what you'll notice is once I hit the button, that print statement should print out, and it should do the same for you as you're working along. So go ahead and tap your button however many times you want to, and each time you notice that the print statement over here in the debug area is printing, my button was pressed, or whatever your statement may have been. All right, so now we'll stop that, and we'll go over. So what you can do now is you can highlight your button on the storyboard, and you'll go over to the connections panel, the connections inspector, and you'll see that now we have a connection on our for the button pressed, and we have an outlet. We have an action and we have an outlet, and each one that you go over, it kind of highlights it. And so those are your IB outlets and your IB actions. That's one way that you can create them. All right, that's it for this one. Stay tuned for the next lesson where we're going to get into UI labels. Thank you for joining me. Take care.